Welcome back to the green yard. It is a super chilly day here for us in the Phoenix Valley. I think the high today is only like 55 degrees. Low is going to be 35, so pretty cold for us here. We're in kind of this cold stretch where the lowest it's going to get is actually this Friday, and it is going to be 32 degrees for a low. So we're going to see how all of our tropical trees fare with that 32 degree temperature. We're over here in our front yard, which I really don't talk about our front yard very often. Our front yard in the green yard is it's kind of interesting because it's split in half by this very large driveway. So we're on one half of the front yard, and then the other half is much bigger than this. This is kind of a smaller side of the yard. Hopefully one day I would like to make this into more of a maybe like a food forest area, an extension of the food forest part of the green yard, which is right behind that block wall behind me. So hopefully that is something that will happen in the future. But we're here today to talk about this beautiful tree behind me. Some of you may already be able to tell what it is just from the leaves, but this is a Pakistani mulberry tree. I've had this tree for about 2 years, and when I first got it, it was just a little tiny 1 foot tall stick. That's all it was, just this little stick. And I put it in the ground, and last year, in 2021, it had this huge growth year. It grew to about 10 to 12 feet. This year, it's been very slow in growth. It's only grown a couple feet, and that's because I ended up having to take it out of the ground and move it because we put in this block wall. So we put in this block wall here, and I actually had to take it from the other side of the wall and move it to this side of the wall where it can grow and thrive now that we put that wall in. So let's go ahead, let's talk a little bit more about growing this Pakistani mulberry tree in the Phoenix Desert, and a little bit more about amendments, what it's like to grow, things of that nature. Here we go. So one of the beautiful things about this mulberry tree that I've noticed is that it actually hangs on to its leaves a lot longer than our other mulberry trees that I have. The Pakistani mulberry is really cool because it produces the largest mulberries. They're actually almost 6 inches in length, and they're supposed to be delicious. This one is yet to fruit for me, but I'm hoping it does here pretty soon because I am dying to try some of this Pakistani mulberry fruit. So hopefully in the spring I'll have a harvesting video for you. But part of what's helped this tree kind of recoup and come back is once again that mulch cover. So I do have that heavy mulch down here at the base of the tree. I actually, when I moved it, I literally had a mulch pile just delivered, so I just let it just sit here. So this is actually under about maybe a foot 1.5 feet of mulch right now. You can see that that soil has already transitioned into this beautiful organic, dark, rich soil. Has a lot of organic matter in it. Really beautiful tree. The one nice thing with mulberries, they call it the queen of fruit trees, because here in the Phoenix Valley you really don't have to do very much with it. I still choose to feed my trees. I give it fish emulsion, and I do give it some fertilizer and a little bit of sulfur too. But typically when people plant these mulberry trees, so you can see some of that sulfur in here, as well as some of those fertilizer pellets. But typically when people oh, some good mold going on there as well. That's what we want to see, breaking things down into that organic material. Typically for those mulberry trees though, we don't really see much amendments going on. People usually just plant them, and they do produce, they do grow, they do create those delicious berries. So our beautiful Pakistani mulberry tree is also right here next to our gorgeous Royal Empress tree that has these beautiful giant fuzzy leaves starting to go dormant, but it is a really beautiful tree as well. These ones grow super fast too. This one grew it's already about 20 feet in 2 years, which is pretty amazing. One thing that you'll hear a lot with these mulberry trees is that they are illegal here in the Phoenix desert. That's true and that's not true. So our fruiting mulberry trees, our female mulberry trees, are legal. You can grow a fruiting mulberry tree here, and the reason is because you don't have to deal with any pollen. So the female mulberries don't produce pollen, only the male mulberries produce pollen. So if you love mulberries, if you want to grow mulberries, you are more than welcome to do so here in the Phoenix desert. They do produce a pretty big tree, so definitely plan out that space. This one is designed to actually cover and protect an area in the food forest part of the green yard for the future. So it's there to actually provide that shade for the future in our food forest part of the green yard, which I'm really excited about. So it's going to get this huge canopy and go ahead and protect. I would like to put maybe a carambola in, a star fruit, something like that on the other side of this wall for this mulberry tree to protect. We do have 2 large male mulberries as well in the green yard. I did not plant those. Those have been here for between 60 and 80 years. I didn't do anything with those. They were planted long before they were outlawed for all the allergy reasons. I actually use them as a protective canopy for my tropical fruit trees. That's what they're there for. And then that pollen actually comes and it pollinates all of our female fruiting mulberries. So it ends up being beneficial for our green yard as well. So that was a really short video about growing a Pakistani mulberry tree in the Phoenix desert. Super easy tree to grow. I would definitely recommend, if you're starting to create any sort of microclimate, to start with those female mulberry trees. There's a lot of different varieties. This one just happens to be a Pakistani mulberry tree. They say it's the biggest fruit in the world. For mulberries, the biggest mulberry in the world, about 6 inches per fruit. So I'm excited to hopefully show you that in the spring this year. I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy my beautiful Pakistani mulberry tree a little bit longer, and I hope all of you are doing well. As always, live green, plant lots, and of course, have fun. We'll see you next time.